fairly certain that's going to be a Loans hero. Oscar did used to run it at the 3 in the past, and maybe for some of those other teams he played for as well, but could be putting it in Alone's hands, and that gives you your sort of battering ram for Infamous if they're looking to take control of the map.
Yeah, I'm just thinking of don't Hokori just pick Mars here? I feel like that's your dead ringer. If they wanted to, they could just Mars Hoodwink right now. And that's where maybe this Leshrac gets a little bit more scared. Clock, okay, that's a cool pick. You really, even though they didn't win that last game, we got to see why that hero is so good. It slowed down the Roche attempt. It got onto that backline. It was very obnoxious, and both the Grimshook and the Earth Spirit are very obnoxious to deal with. But yeah, Mars is a Deadbringer. Now they've got a Mars Coddle lane. Clockwork still needs to find a buddy to play with here, but uh, I don't know. I feel like this Leshrac might be a little bit early here from Infamous. If they saw it maybe after seeing Hikori's heroes, I think maybe if they stole the Mars from their opponents themselves here, the issue is there's no backup. There's no save right now. If this Lesh is up on the tower, you better be diving with 2 or 3 heroes alongside him, and the Earth Spirit's going to help with the dive. But if it's the Lesh getting gone on, aside from maybe defensively kicking him away, this is a Leshrac that is very killable, very easily killable as well. And I understand that this is one of the few mid laners in the game that can kind of make that draw happen versus the Storm Spirit, but I don't know. I just feel like it's really easy to die in this game.
Yeah, I feel like this was. Ooh, okay, I'll take the Dusa for Parker, but I feel like the Leshrac pickup was them looking almost exclusively at the mid matchup. As you were alluding to, the Storm's one of those few heroes that. Lesh is one of the few heroes that can kind of go toe to toe with the Storm Spirit and not lose out, but then you have to look at the rest of the lineup. You also have to look at the fact that you field your support duo that doesn't have that sort of bailout capability. So, could get a little bit risky here, although this comes back to the previous point we were talking about with Infamous. Maybe they double or triple down on the aggression. If you're just pushing the pace at all times, if the Leshrac is constantly on the offensive, then maybe Infamous catch Hokori on the back foot. Maybe Hokori don't have the time and the opportunity to set up for those plays to easily kill the Leshrac.
Yeah, and that's where with Infamous, and again, it's about that support duo in A and Michael. This is a lane that they can very easily go to. This is where 5 minutes in, if your Grimstroke and Earth Spirit are not showing on the map, it's because Leshrac is getting Inkswelled into you with that Silence landing with the Phantom's Embrace, and they're going to look for those very early plays. But I just hope it works out. I hope it's the aggressive Infamous that all of their plays look really seamless and they get, a 3 or 4K gold lead at 10 minutes into the game. That's the Infamous we all know and love, but it's also the Infamous that has kind of failed in a few different ways in a few different situations. And that's where Hikori picking up the Yuma Monkey King. Seen the Monkey King versus Medusa matchup play out before. It's a fine line that you need to tread, but at the end of the day, this really limits what you want to play for. Unfortunately, Oscar here, your offlane pool was already basically non-existent here. It's why I think that Mars steal from Hikori was kind of brutal. And now, what does Oscar play? You can't play melee here versus the Monkey King. You could maybe say we pick the Pit Lord here and then we just deal with it. Pit Lord's probably your best option, but then you forfeit the lane versus the Monkey King, and then you're kind of in a situation where you hope for the best, and you hope you can deal with it whenever your Earth Spirit kicks you aside, because you know Michael's not going to be in your lane forever.
Yeah, I don't know. The Underlord, as you said, might just have to be the best choice, and they just grin and bear it. But it's still going to be rough for them, I suppose. If you start looking maybe longer down the line, the Underlord also gives you a little bit more lockdown to try and deal with the storm. That's one of the reasons why he's been picked up. Is that a Malice sort of gives the Storm Spirit a no zone, but then you're basically saying that Oscar has to kind of not have fun for the first 10 to 15 minutes of this game. So I don't know. If you're Oscar, you're probably used to getting your lane sacked a little bit here, but not sure many alternatives they realistically have at this stage.
Yeah, and I'm really running the numbers here. It's not like they can pick Necro. Pango's already banned out. Pango would have been an option versus the Monkey King. I just feel like in losing so much of that offlane pool, maybe like we saw in the other games going on right now, we could see them go for something like the Doom, but do not feel like that's going to be the answer here that they look at. Yeah, it's a tough situation to be in. I think that's where Oscar's really weighing it. They would have loved that Viper. It was a really good ban from Hokori.
Oh,
And that is none of the above. That is an enigma. Well, that's not going to lose the lane versus the monkey, but Okay, that is very different. You also pick that Enigma into Clockwork, though. So, is it going to be enough for the lane? Sure. Yeah, we can do something with that. Is it going to be enough to actually play and keep yourself above water here? I hope so, because I want a nice game of Dota here. But I do feel like Hokori's kind of got everything in the patch that they need to really work it here. I think really we're going to see Infamous either excel or get stonewalled pre 10 minutes. They need to find those early rotations. Once the level 6 is online for Gardic on the other side, Hokori gets to start making all of these plays across the map. Oscar cannot black hole in these team fights unless you see where Gardic is or the hookshot's already committed. It's going to be a very long waiting game, I think, and that's where Hokori, they do have a lot of time to play with, and it is going to be analog, usually busting open those team fights. They just have so many team fight tools, not to mention the Monkey King ring. I mean, if you've ever seen an Enigma black hole a Monkey King in his Wukong's command, mostly that's not pretty. That's not a situation you want to be in if you're that Enigma, unless you're just straight up killing him, but it's very difficult for Infamous to execute this lineup.
And I mean, it's neat to see, right? The Enigma, not a hero that we get to spectate all that often. But now, Infamous's lineup really does go in two different directions. You have Earth, Earth Spirit, Grimstroke, and Leshrac who can push the pace, but then you got a Parker Dusa who needs a lot of time to farm, and you have an Enigma who has one of the single longest cooldowns in the entire game. So, how do they sort of balance out the waiting game versus the wanting to push the tempo and be aggressive?
Yep, it's a very hard answer, and I think the real reason they go for this Enigma, remove the Clockwork from the table, remove the Monkey King lane. This is an offlaner that will be left alone a little bit more. You are going to feel comfortable leaving your Enigma, pulling the large camp, blocking the small camp, giving your Earth Spirit a little bit more rotation. I think that's why Michael starts with the Boots of Speed as opposed to getting, let's say, an Urn Rush this game, just because he feels like he can make that rotation. It's a rotation they need to make. They need to play so up on this mid lane. And of course, to start it all off, Alone's got to do a really good job finding that draw. If he can get that level advantage, usually what we see from the Storm Leshrac matchup is that the Lesh can play for denies, where the Storm can really only get last hits. So if you get your level 6 just a little bit sooner than that Storm Spirit, you either force him to jungle for it, or you just straight up play up on him and try to go for the kill. Discardic. This is a nice trade. Don't think anybody could connect here in time, but I
Oh,
think
now
Gardic
the
has,
turnaround. Yeah.
yeah.
Got a couple of slows. They miss with the splitter, so maybe Gardic still has a path to freedom. Nope. There's going to be the snake coming in. Alone finishes the kill. Yuma's now in a bit of an awkward spot as well because the Stroke of Fate's back up. They get another slow. Rebuke from Vitali's not going to do a lot of good. Yuma got stunned up by the splitter as Alone was able to hit the second time around. They will find first blood and an additional kill onto the opposing carry. That second kill goes into Parker's hands of all people, so... Well, you like the ambition from Gardic at the start, but he needs to be aware of how far he's getting from his own backup, as, speaking of which, Tali is going to get slowed up, stunned up. A's coming in, Stroke of Fate at the ready, fakes it out one time, gets it the second, and this may very well be a third kill. Vitali with the Rebuke is going to create a little bit of space as Alone actually just was so tunnel visioned in on the kill that he didn't realize Gardic was slowly chunking him down. Now Vitali, that... Okay. Not 100% sure if he wanted to just die on purpose there or if he actually thought he could get the kill. Either way, he does get picked off, and now Gardic is going to be able to fall back. But that's 4 kills before the Horn, see, and they're not done yet. Gardic pushes back in with the Battery Assault. What are we doing here? These supports just don't want to lane. They'd rather just fight, and Michael actually has no mana, so he can't go for the Boulder Smash, but he doesn't need to. Just keep that vision. A gets the kill, and Infamous have 4 on the board here for the first creep wave.
Oh, what a bizarre way to start this game, especially for Alone, who actually didn't get all too denied here, but wasn't
Oh,
there to play versus the Storm. But
Gardic's gonna
hey,
get it.
yeah,
Oh, no, he didn't.
nice.
Wow. Thought that Battery Assault was gonna hit in time, so A technically does not give a direct kill over to Gardic. He still dies, but timing's a little bit off.
Yeah, we see he gets the XP, right?
True.
Even though it's a kill towards the Radiant. I think that's the one fail there, but at the same time, mid lane Alone. Yep. You know,
That's
who cares? You missed the first creep wave, you know? I'll just soul kill you in the next round. That's really unfortunate.
it's not supposed to be the way that that goes down, but Alone's able to get the better of it, and well, it wasn't just that sort of fight in the river, right? If Alone can sort of get it going here as well, then it's going to be a solid start for him. 2-1-2 already on the Leshrac. His courier's bringing the bottle out, and Analog is not massively behind, but he is behind 2 minutes in.
Yeah, and we'll have to see. Again, Analog can really only play for the last hits here. Alone has the zoning ability. He's the one with the splitter, of course, also with the harass from the lightning storm. Fortunately, though, for Analog, you can just push out the wave. You just need to try to not miss out anything. It's where Alone is being really obnoxious here. And going for the 2-0-2, he is ready. He's raring to go. He wants to take out the Storm Spirit as many times as he can. It's also where, with that little bit of gold that he got from, you know, those first 4 kills, he is certainly ready to make these fights happen. And it's a little bit awkward. Does get to walk away finally.
Just
Just keeps
keeps.
on canceling the
Oh!
splitter. Yeah.
Oh, it's the 6th attempt on the splitter. That's really the one that gets you. But if you're Analog, I mean, that's. You have to take every single one of those pump fakes seriously, because 2 points up in Split Earth is going to do some serious damage. So just kind of has to dance around the lane and a fun time. Meanwhile, Alone is just kind of being as aggressive as he can possibly be. He's a little bit low on mana now, so they take a step back in terms of just how far forward he's trying to play, but really is not giving Analog much space in this early stage.
You know, just playing well. We'll see 4 minutes sooner than later, but hopefully we see those early rotations coming out here. At the same time, though, side lanes are also very quiet. Nobody's really able to make those moves. Parker is kind of running out of where he can lane right now. As we always say with the Medusa, you very naturally push in the wave. A also very naturally pushes in the wave, just because, of course, with that stroke of fate to make those trades happen. Grimstroke Medusa, not historically the strongest lane in the world. That's not really your combo.
While over in the bottom lane, Oscar, he's going to farm well. That's just kind of how the Enigma works. And Yuma, technically speaking, I think this duo between himself and the Clockwork could get aggressive onto the Enigma, but it would still be a risky play, and it would cost Yuma really all of his farming opportunities while they went for it. So, not worth it if you can't guarantee the kill. Instead, Gardic is already starting to sort of drift a little bit, but at the same time, we see Michael kind of mirroring him, making the same move towards that middle lane. And Analog is very low. There's the roll. They get the stun. They need a little bit more damage, and Analog is going to get taken down. Gardic's just too far back to get there in time.
Yeah, and he could be a little bit obnoxious here. I think he just gets kicked. Yeah, gets kicked out, and then maybe he's able to keep it up. But yeah, Alone just got level 6. Oh no, Gardic.
Gardic's in trouble. They're going to roll in. Alone's looking for the damage. Meanwhile, there was a bit of a fight up top. We're keeping it mid while Alone gets the kill, but was Parker finding some pickoffs in that top lane. Takes down Vitali. Does have to sacrifice his Grimstroke in exchange, but Infamous are kind of winning these lanes so far. I mean, they've got 8 kills. That certainly helps, but the fact that they're sort of being the bullies in some of these lanes as well is really going to work out for them.
Yeah, I think very simply, you had El Micho outside of the lane, maybe looking for the stacks. He actually doesn't even get to stack because the aggression comes out in Vitali, and with him having these Tranquil Boots in his inventory as well, can almost assume that Vitali's not getting that support that's just buying all of the regen for his teammate. He's being a little bit more selfish in that regard, just keeping himself on the map maybe a little bit longer instead, but getting killed in Medusa lane is not fun for any offlaner.
A gets his pull broken up there. He was able to take 1 creep, but that's kind of it. So, heads up play from El Micho. He's going to get into the jungle. I think he tried to stack that. Didn't really work out for him. But now, over in that south side river, Gardic has been spotted. Alone and Michael high-fiving as they go, and they should be able to find the kill. Those creeps were sort of falling back. Gardic would have loved to keep the aggro for the deny, but not going to get it. And all of a sudden, you look at this Leshrac. He has 5 kills, ET. In 6 minutes. Even with the best farm available, Analog's not going to be able to keep pace with that.
Yeah, he's forced to jungle for his level 6. He's really not able to do all too much here. I feel like this is the type of game where as soon as Vitaly hits his own level 6 on the Mars, you sync up with the Storm Spirit, you smoke onto the Lesh, and then you just try to kill him. Because right now, Alone is just accelerating so quickly here, and there really isn't an easy play to be made on the other side as Yuma.
Oh
Oh my
no!
goodness, it connected.
They got the stun, they got the slow, they got a second stun, they've got the Pulse Nova coming in, and Yuma's dead. Alone is an absolute monster. Of course, half of that monster is Michael making some spectacular plays as well. He has 8 assists on his team's 10 kills, but this is the kind of performance that we were sort of alluding to when we saw them start looking for this kind of draft, and just the way Infamous plays in general. As you said, they're a very angry team coming off of a loss, but not angry to the point that they're out of control. They just focus it in and make plays like this.
Yeah, it's fairly seamless. It's pretty easy. I think it's where also looking at top, a fun time to stack for Alone as well. I mean, they do such a fine job at setting up this Leshrac. In terms of the game, in terms of their heroes, it still feel as if Alone needs to be very careful. If he dies, it could be very scary as the arena is actually on Parker, and they'll certainly get the Medusa here, but can you get everybody out here? That was 3 cores for that rotation, by the way. That's a monkey. That's your safe liner doing that rotation.
Can Alone catch anyone? Not looking like it. So they get away with it. As you said, it was a very sort of resource-intensive kill that they find, but they needed something, and it's going to slow down Parker a little bit. But no offense to Parker, I mean, he's not the one that they should be worried about right now. The Deuce is just going to fall back to the jungle and farm, but Alone is crazy farmed himself, and Oscar's just been quietly handling his own business down bot on the Enigma, so once these fights start really getting larger than just these singular pickoffs we've been finding, Hokori are going to have work cut out for them for sure.
Yeah, especially if Yuma's going for this item build. He's got the Battle Fury queued up, and of course the Aghanim Scepter is very strong, but as we always talk about, it's not the Battle Fury, it's the Battle Fury, and then it's the next item, and then it's the item after that. It's where is Yuma going to be hard-pressed for finding a Battle Fury and a BKB and another item before this game is really said and done. If you can get a Scotty, that'd be huge, but Michael, nice roll away. Just super clean from the ES, but that's a lot of men on Storm and Analog. Does he have it? Triple null and the chakra. It's too easy.
Yuma gets in there with the Boundless, so he's just going to pick himself up an assist on that play as well, and this is what you need if you're Hokori. You're not going to get it all back in a single go. There's no home run play at the 9-minute mark, so try and find some picks, get that Storm Spirit going, see what you can do from there. So it's not a bad plan, for sure. Analog found his first kill. He's still building himself up, and this is the other part for Infamous that I'm going to be a little bit concerned with. They found these kills early. Alone and Oscar are very big. Now you need to start looking at pushing out some of these lanes, take these objectives, and really shrink down the area that Hokori are going to be feeling safe to operate.
Yeah, and that's also where 10 minutes into the game, the tome's going to be available. These levels are going to start coming in for everyone. I think especially important for both Gardic and Almisho here, whereas the faster Almisho has that level 3, level 4 chakra magic, the more his Storm Spirit can do, and then that hook shot's going to come online, and then I really feel like Hokori's game plan is going to start coming together here, as this is an invisible Gardic, but
Oh my
yeah.
god, they're just going to kill him anyway.
Uh-huh.
That's unfortunate if you're Gardic. There's just nothing more you can do. They don't see you. They're just taking some good guesses, and now here comes that push. Parker even comes over to get involved. They're going to glyph their creep wave to keep alive that siege creep, and
Ooh.
Michael, he didn't get the stun, but he does get the kickback. Now he's got to step out of the Wukong's command, but that's a relatively simple process. But now Vitaly's in. They're going to drop the arena. The spear stun's there. Michael gets locked down. More TPs coming forward. They're just going to bring everybody to this fight. Michael will go down. A is in trouble as well. They should be able to finish him off. And they get onto Alone too. Gardic with a very big hook shot, and they will find a third kill. That is perfect. Infamous just don't quite show the respect. I think they were trying to call what they thought was a bluff. They didn't think Hokori would rush everybody in there, but that assumption is very incorrect, and they lose the fight.
Yeah, I feel as if they go into that fight thinking we've got magnetized, maybe the supports aren't ready on Hokori's side just yet. We go in, and that was a sick silence from Michael. Him being able to walk out that Wukong's command, it was 100% a wasted ultimate from Yuma. It's just where underestimating that Mars, you get burned for it. And if they do make that play, if that roll, I want to say, connects onto El Misho instead, they remove the Keeper of the Light from the mid lane. That's their easy way onto that tier 1 mid that they still have a fairly easy way of getting onto, but it's that seamless play that Infamous are always looking for, that perfect game. They always look for those moments that are really going to push themselves the furthest ahead. It's just whenever they aren't able to make those plays happen that you get a little bit sad. And that's also a play that I feel like if they were maybe all as 5, that works a little bit better. You just got to mech on Oscar and Gardic. Did Michael mean to? Okay.
Not sure he did. That was an awkward kick, but they're still looking for something here. They got the silence and the stun out of Vitaly. They're going to slow him up with the stroke of fate. Another silence comes in. Michael misses with the roll, but they still have the stun from the Split Earth and should be able to clean that one up. Oscar gets the kill and just have invaded that west side jungle. Don't know if they stick around, but find a kill. What's going on here with Joe? He spots Parker, but not really too much he can do. He could maybe snipe a courier. No, not able to get the second hit down. So they have vision over the Medusa there for a moment, but really able to do a whole lot with it.
Yeah, I'm just kind of have to walk away, and that is the one unfortunate thing for Hokori. In a lot of situations, they do need to walk away here, but in the triangle, A is going to go down. There's a huge team fight, should be able to walk away, but Oscar, he wants to play on the ramp. He doesn't have a Blink Dagger. He'd love to get a black hole here, but this is such a weird position to be in.
Spear doesn't even actually hit the other side of the arena, so Alone just gets knocked back, and well, we all go our separate ways, I guess. That looked like it was going to turn into something more, but so many of those sort of initial plays don't work. As you said, Oscar, he needs some sort of movement ability, whether it's a Force Staff, a Blink Dagger, anything, but doesn't really have it just yet. He's going for the Guardian Greaves build first, so that is going to be great for team fights, but gives him limited options in terms of actually getting into position for the black hole.
Yeah, it's also unfortunate that you just haven't been in a spot yet on Oscar to make that early black hole happen, because we are getting to the point where Oscar's going to want to save it for a team fight. He's going to need it to defend the mid tower. He doesn't want to just throw it out there anymore, which is a little sad, because it is just free gold as, ooh, that's another kind of crazy play, the duo of Michael A, but doesn't pan out. But they're playing in the river much better. They're getting where they need to go, and they're keeping these runes out of the Storm Spirit's bottles. As we always say, is the most important aspect of playing versus that Storm Spirit, is just not giving him that free arcane rune, that free 600 mana that he has no business having, as Michael looks for El Misho in the bottom lane.
This is on the slow. Now Misha's going to TP out. Okay. Able to dodge that gank. Meanwhile, we got a Blink Dagger finished up on Vitaly. Oh, okay. Trying to be sneaky. He's actually keeping it on the courier under the tower. Now they'll smoke. Then they'll give him the blink, so that might be a little bit of a sneaky play. If Infamous were sort of keeping tabs on him, he didn't have the blink before. Now they'll see him, and do they want to do anything? They can. Michael's going to hit the silence. He's going to roll his way forward onto Analog as well. Now Oscar trying to get in, looking for some sort of play, but he's already lost one of his supports. A went down. Oscar's black hole hits absolutely nothing. And this is going to be a complicated fight. Yuma channeling out the Wukong's command. Parker and Alone are stuck inside of it, but they're just going to try and kill Yuma off as quickly as they can. They do manage to get that kill, but the cost is way too high. Alone's already been taken down. Parker is on about half HP. Michael and Oscar are still trying to kind of hold the fort here. They're pushing their way forward. They get onto El Misho to find that Coddle kill, but now Vitaly gets a spear, knocking Parker back. Tower shots coming in. Analog was actually trying to leave, but once he realizes they have that opening, he pushes back in for the kill. And now Oscar and Michael are kind of fighting alone, and I don't think they have the damage to really get past the Mars.
Yeah, Vitaly's just a little bit too large and in charge here. Does have the kick, does have the roll. Don't feel like Michael's going to go down here, but yeah, they really were in such a bad position. They needed to all in on killing Yuma in his ultimate there. If they don't do that, I feel like the fight gets blown wide open. There's a lot of mana as well for Analog to play with at that fight. He just lost so much HP that got a little bit scared of going in. But also, if Oscar just holds his black hole maybe a little bit longer, I feel like none of that tail end happens. I feel like Parker probably walks away as the winner of that fight, the sole winner of that fight core-wise. But instead, you get kind of this awkward situation where everybody dies. At least the Storm Spirit walks away for Hokori, but I feel like they do need to find more of those plays now. You've got this Yuma Battle Fury farming on the other side of the map, but it's time to start slowing down Parker. He's got that Mantis style. He's going to get to that point where he just starts being a little too effective.
Parker's farming up well. Oscar, whiffs on the first black hole, but there will be more to come. But he does have to be careful about that. You can only miss too many of those. And Tali? This is a bit of an awkward spot. He's going to get through most of the Eidolons there, but now here comes the Storm looking to back his teammate up. They're going to jump in onto the Enigma. Oscar backing away for now, pops the mech for himself, so he's able to heal up, and... Ooh, Michael. Very close to getting that stun down. Not going to be able to do so, but they find the kill that they wanted. Vitaly goes down. The sort of reaction doesn't kill off the Enigma, and they're going to be just fine, or maybe not. What's going on here? Alone. Going to get himself jumped in on. Yuma gets in with the Boundless and the Wukong's command, and, well, that's going to make the kill onto the Mars down in the bottom lane a little less valuable as they lose the Leshrac in exchange.
Yep, just a little bit too far up in the lane. It's the punish of that clockwork. Okay.
Wow.
Hey. Yeah, they still have this ward here. He needs to kill the bug, but yeah, that is absolutely free. Yeah, never de-warding this ward has been a little problematic for Infamous. That's why I think Hokori took that fight so easily, but okay. They should know there's no black hole still, but Amisho's just kind of walking into everything.
Yeah, oh man, Michael can't quite connect with the rolling boulder, but he doesn't need to. Parker's able to come in there, and they will finish off that kill. Now Parker is... in a position maybe to push out this lane a little bit. The creep wave's coming up behind him, so... Not actually going to go for it. Instead, Parker just goes into the jungle and will farm up.
As is the Parker way.
Okay, never mind. He's coming back over now, so they might get some damage onto this tier 2, and we'll see if Hokori really want to do anything here. They lose most of their tree line. Almisha was still able to TP in there on the back, but Otto alone may not be so strong fight-wise, but he didn't really need the fight. He just needed to clear out the creeps.
Yeah, and, well, what do you do now? Hokori, they're looking for that deep dive. They're looking, and the hook shot should just be the end of any aggression here. Infamous, they want a break of the fight actually in that wave, and they're starting to get very tanky. They've got a pipe, they've got a mech on Oscar. Those long engagements could actually be very problematic. The pipe, it's been a fairly niche pickup in a lot of these games, but versus the Storm Spirit, without that Orchid, you tend to not have enough damage here. And yeah, Infamous want this fight.
Gonna jump in onto Almisho first. They need to get this kill maybe a little bit faster, but they will get it eventually. Almisho goes down, Gardic will fall as well, and... Well, I said they needed to get that kill a little bit faster. As it turns out, that really wasn't true, because Hokori weren't bringing any other cores. Thought maybe Vitaly would make a move with the Blink Dagger, but that was not the case. Infamous find a pair of kills, and back onto this tier 2 tower, and Michael didn't hit with the stun, but he pushes Vitaly back.
Almost connected. Would have 100% been a dead Mars if that did hit, but this is also a dead tier 2. They're TPing in, which is a little bit risky here, but this is BKB on Analog. He needs to find the backline. If he finds A, that'd be huge. He needs to find him, though, otherwise the Soulbind could come out. Uh-oh. But Oscar...
Yeah, they are going to get in onto Oscar fairly quickly. They'll find that first kill, and... What? Oh, God, they want more. They get more. They actually kill off A, then they get the hookshot onto Parker. Wukong's command coming out as well. The Vortex is going to be deployed. Parker, though, did get off that Stone Gaze, but that's just not going to be enough. Vitaly blinks forward, keeps the pressure on. They find the kill, and now they might look for Michael, but he was able to roll himself out.
Yeah, I really feel like just not being in that right positioned order as... Do they really keep this up on alone? They can. Ooh. Oh, the illusion. It's a nice attempt, but it's even nicer from Vitaly. And now this is your mid-tier 1, most likely going down here. But back to bottom. Having both the Enigma and the Medusa in front, but the Medusa doesn't pop the Stone Gaze in time to help the Enigma at all. It's where you'd hope that Alone would be involved in that push a little bit more than he has been, but he's gone for this Kaya Sanj, and okay, they're fighting again mid, but without a Blink Dagger on Oscar, how does he actually get into the fight here? They need to look for this kill on Yuma so slowly.
This is not really going well for them. Michael's going to keep on trying to roll in, but well, he misses the rolling boulder, and I don't know about this one anymore. Michael's got to try and back away. He rolls into Gardic, however. but they don't want to chase any further. Thought maybe Analog would pull the trigger there, but with Yuma on relatively low HP, they just decide to play it safe. But Infamous are really, at this point, ET struggling to find not a team fight win, even just the initiation into a team fight.
At least with that, they get to defend their mid tower, which is going to be very important in this game. They were a little bit afraid of that Enigma, and their damage starting to run out a little bit. It's where we got to actually see the pipe mech build kind of working in itself, but yeah, we need to see, I think, really the timing on Parker Scotty. Maybe that'll be the big turning point here. But seeing Yuma as close to this Medusa as he is not a comforting sight if you are Infamous. And Yuma, one component on his own Scotty, that's going to be Doomsday. That's where your Medusa could very easily get broken here. And they're also giving the tomes over to Yuma. So that way that Monkey King's level 25 is a very real, very scary possibility. Then your team fight gets horribly complicated for Infamous.
Just trying to feed into Yuma as much as they possibly can. Like you said, it's been working out so far because there's a separation of like 500 gold, and that's it. So Yuma is a very, very big monkey at the moment, and they could get a little bigger if they actually go for Roshan here, and looks like they will do so. I assume Analog's going to be the one grabbing this Aegis at this point, but see who makes the space. In the meantime, they just continue to hack away. This is not a fast Roche by any means, but it's free. Infamous are on the other side of the map.
Yeah, it's not really at any risk. If there was a risk, you have El Misho and Gardic just kind of playing their bodies, putting them down there. I feel like Infamous are a little bit scared of their opponents right now as well. Just too many BKBs coming out at the same time. There's a triple BKB timing on Hokori. It's up to Infamous to kind of move past that and really do feel as if Oscar needs to find his moment sometime in these team fights. He's going for that BKB, needs a BKB, so that way he doesn't kind of just die to that Storm Spirit or the Spear, but you are still playing versus a Clockwork. I just hope that when those big team fights do come out in the next few minutes here, Infamous can get a hero out in front of him. If we see a canceled Black Hole, any team fight is going to be blown wide open.
Good news, though, for Infamous is that Parker was able to get that Eye of Scotty online, so Yusei is going to be a much bigger factor in this fight as Michael's going to roll his way forward. They drop the Magnetize onto the Mars. The silence comes through as well, and Vitali would be a great here to just take down right away, but he pops the BKB, turns around with the Arena. Michael's not dead yet. He's going to be able to roll himself away, and now they get the Soulbind into a bit of a silence play there. This is actually going to work out pretty fantastically. Analog's already dead. Yuma channels out the Wukong's command, but his supports are already gone, or not his supports, his cores, as Analog and Vitali both die. Yuma just trying to stay in the ring. Is going to get taken down the first time here. Aegis brings him back up, but there's no more Wukong's command, and there's the Black Hole. They are taking no chances. Black Hole in onto Yuma. They'll kill him the second time. Gardic is trying to get away, but he will not make it. Parker gets the kill, and that's the team fight we've been waiting for from Infamous.
Yeah, and it really comes back from that Soulbind from A, landing on both the Mars and the Storm Spirit. He just got right-clicked down. Parker just ran in with the Stone Gaze, got on top of both those heroes. They're very fragile. You didn't see any knockbacks really from El Misho either. I think they caught him in between the Spirit Forms. A very awkward timing as Michael... Oh my goodness, he's dead. El Misho, I think he should be dead as well. He's recalling in someone. Oh no,
pulling.
alone. Oh no.
Tali's in, Analog's in, and Analog may have gotten, excuse me, Alone may have gotten the slightest bit baited there, but, well, that sucks, but it's not the worst outcome in the world. This might be, though. Gardic is going to hook all the way in. Can anyone reach this in time, though, actually? Analog is going to zip. They jump in onto A first. They get the Arena into the Spear Stun onto Parker, and Oscar without a Black Hole really can't do anything to help. He's just trying to sort of stay on the edges just in case, as Parker will activate the Stone Gaze. They're going to turn onto Analog. Will find that kill. Gardic now in trouble as well. That jetpack does not do him any good as he's just right-clicked down, and... okay. Little overly ambitious there from Hokori, trying to get the Dusa. Parker's able to sort of salvage those 2 kills for his team.
And well, both sides can overextend, I suppose, is the moral of that story. But yeah, without the Monkey King, it really was surprised that they go for that kill onto Parker. Perhaps it's after seeing he has only half mana that they think they can make that happen. But those are 2 very important kills to give to him right now. That's Parker now looking at pretty much a full butterfly. That space that we were just talking about between Yuma and the Monkey King, the gap is there now. This is a full item built up. It's where Yuma, once he does have the Scotty, now needs to look at items like the MKB. It's where, unfortunately, if you are this Monkey King, you're going to need to play at least one item behind your opponent here. And this is also a good item. If Parker goes for the Agi Blink, then not really going to need to worry about that initiation coming in from that arena. It's really just a matter of whether or not he could find his way onto that backline beforehand. But nice roll.
Okay.
Michael's in. Gonna get purged from that ink swell, but this is still a little bit scary.
Pulls forward again, and yeah, Yuma got knocked out of his ult. That's the Wukong's command down. But Analog is trying to clean up the supports first. They will be able to do so, and now I don't know if Infamous want to keep this fight going alone, though. He's going to push his way forward to get the stun onto Vitali. Gardic tries to hook onto the back line. It is going to be successful, but they need to find these kills. Alone is in trouble. They're going to try to keep him alive, but the Vortex will pull him back in, but there's the Stone Gaze out from Parker, covering for his teammate. Hokori have a decision to make here. Do you go back in? Do you have anything to go back in with, though? Tali has no health. They have no hook shot, so looks like they're just going to sort of let it go there. And you find 2 support kills. You don't really lose anyone on your own side, but unable to really get the kill onto those cores on the Infamous side.
Yeah, and, well, Hokori got only benefits from that fight, right? They'd lost nobody. They were able to walk away. Maybe your BKBs get ticked down a little bit further, but sure, I think they'll take it. And that is your Scotty going to be finished up on the Monkey King. And he's looking actually for that Daedalus. He's kind of ignoring what Parker may or may not be building here. And it looks like Parker will be buying that Swift Blink. Really strong item. Also found his Spider Legs, which is kind of crazy. Just the luck of the carry players here. As I think Michael's going to scout out this DD rune right alongside A. But this game is going to get murkier and murkier as we go along here. Still not seeing Infamous going for those big items. They're really just getting those more survivable items. I believe that BKB just got finished up on the Enigma, followed by the Agi Blink. The stakes are there, though. If Hokori loses a fight on their side of the map, especially if they just get black holed, well, you're going to see them lose buildings now. And without that tier 2 bottom, you could see Infamous swinging for 2 if they really need to, as well as both the mid-tier 2 mid. That's already been peppered up just by the creep waves being pushed in by the Eidolons. They're really good objectives for Infamous to try and take right now.
Parker got the bottle passed over from the Leshrac so he can hold that DD rune for the opportune moment, and really sure when that moment's coming just yet, because Hokori have done a decent job of sort of backing away, but yeah, this is the problem. If you back away, Parker's going to take an objective. Interesting attempt there from Storm Spirit, but he's a little late.
Whoa.
And they caught El Misho. Maybe they haven't. Okay. Getting away for now. Maybe Michael can catch back up. He's got to hit a rolling boulder, though, and not going to try it. Okay. El Misho gets away with one there.
Yeah, but this is, again, another very nice situation. Your opponents are already having Glyph. You go claim this tower whenever they have it. El Misho crazily went for this outpost. It's a little bit too much there. At the very least, you have Yuma pushing to the top wave, and, well, Michael's going to try and hunt for him at this point. But with Parker still situated top, if Yuma shows him this wave here, oh, he's not going to get TP broken. Okay, that's a nice TP out, but now Infamous can kind of sit in your triangle here, and unless you smoke in there with the Mars, or I guess look for the kill in the mid lane, but I don't know if Vitali gets this. Okay.
Okay.
Barely enough time.
Michael rolled forward, but yeah, this is going to get complicated. There's the Boundless Strike to lock him down, and Oscar's coming in. Maybe he can find some sort of black hole play here. He's going to hold it, though, as Vitali actually ran out of time on his BKB, so he should just be taken down, but Parker wants more. They spotted out Yuma. They would love to be able to get onto him as well, but Analog zipping in. He's going to find the snipe and zip himself away, but Yuma actually hasn't cleared out of here just yet. Jumping into those trees, though, should give him the separation that he wanted, but that's a bit of a weird one. Hokori tried their best to sort of turn that into another fight, but they will still lose 2. They at least keep Yuma alive. That's going to be sort of the maybe most important factor here in terms of maintaining their high ground, but guys are starting to feel a little bit more confident in these fights. And Michael, I mean, he's just been sort of throwing himself in there every single time he has the chance, and Corey becoming less and less capable of immediately punishing him for those moves.
Oh my goodness, all the trees just dead. But Also passed over the tome to Parker, so your Medusa's level 25. It's where Yuma, still being level 23, is getting a little bit problematic for you. You want to find that space on the Monkey King before you make that next move here. As well, I believe Parker, is he getting a crit? He's holding on to a lot of gold right now. Oh, he's going to look for the Bloodthorn instead. Also a killer item, really nice. And it's going to really limit what you can do post BKB on the Hokori side here. It's where those team fights are going to be decided in moments. And we haven't really seen those knee-jerky reactions. Infamous have been very patient with their big ultimates. We haven't seen them really waste all too much now. But in 50 seconds, Roshan's going to be the next objective of the game. And if they get it, well, we've got quite a big problem. I don't know how Hokori deal with two Medusas. I don't think they really can, to be honest. It's where even though Parker doesn't have a BKB, he's getting very obnoxious here. And something interesting with this Bloodthorn pickup and the split shot modifiers, well, your spell damage is going to get reduced. There's a Mage Slayer on that Medusa now that's going to be affecting 3 or 4 heroes.
It is going to be kind of interesting against the Hokori lineup in particular, and also worth noting at this point, Oscar does now finally have his hands on that Blink Dagger, so Blink BKB into a black hole is on the table for them, and your Hokori, you now have to be so unbelievably careful here. And Gardic, I mean, he's got the hook shot, he's got the jetpack. I really feel at this point, as much as it may sort of burn away at his instincts, he has to basically sit back and wait until he sees the black hole deployed before he goes in at all.
Yeah, and it really is that forcing move where Kingardic and Hokori win the team fight without him going in, without him making space, without him taking really A off before the beginning of any of these fights here. And, well, they are the team with clockwork. They want this engagement. They want this fight. The Bloodthorn just got made, so there's no buyback on this Medusa if the fight does go haywire. But, well, let's see what happens here.
Pushing their way forward. They get Soulbind down onto a couple of cores there, so... Oh, there's Oscar jumping in. The black hole's going to connect. They hit up onto 2. Where is Gardic? He hook shots in. That is going to help turn this fight around. They're going to channel out the Wukong's command right away. Oscar's going to fall first. Meanwhile, Roshan did go down, but Analog was able to snatch it. And this is not going fantastically for Infamous, but now with Parker getting involved, they could start to turn. They've taken down one core. Vitali dead. Analog goes for the Vortex, but that allows Michael to roll in. They're going to burn through that first life. And where's the backup? Who can get in here to defend the Storm? Can he zip out in time? No, he can't. Splitter stun is there. Silence is there. Damage is there. As Analog falls, Michael's going to try and track down El Misho while the cores are trying to go after... We're trying to go after Gardic. I think now they're going to try and track Yuma, but easy to get onto that Monkey King. But at least Michael was able to track down his kill. El Misho goes down, and Hokori... Everything was great up until the point when the Medusa started fighting, which kind of sounds a little dumb now that I say it, but part 1 of the fight was great, but they still can't deal with Parker.
Yeah, and it's kind of strange what's going on here as Yuma is gonna actually be able to make his way across these waves here. They're not gonna catch him. I don't think Infamous are gonna get anything from this. Yuma's doing a really good job of kind of ruining their big advantage here. It should still be 30 seconds without Storm. This would be a lot of damage, or at least the Glyph forced out, but the hero plays. Now Yuma just needs to not die here. Very well placed by Alone, but still no dice. And yeah, that fight got super hectic, and I really don't think that was the way that Infamous wanted things to go down here. They'd love that Medusa Aegis to be on their side, but it was also just a great play, a great timing. The Aghanim Scepter from the Storm Spirit as a little bit of poking, and there is no Aegis on the Medusa. They have to play as if that's the game they're in right now, even though Gardic, yeah.
I don't know about that one. He's going to get picked
25.
off. Oh, no, he's not. He's not dead yet, but Wukong's command, oh, they're kind of outside of it, but Vitali comes in. There's the arena getting dropped down. They're trying to push their way forward. Parker, as you said, no Aegis. They burned through the Mana Shield already. They're going to take that Medusa down. And Infamous have to run. It's really nothing for it anymore. They've just got to try and back out. Alone will TP away. Michael is looking for his exit as well, but his TP is not up for about 20 seconds, and he is going to get tracked down. They'll kill him off, and okay, that's the fight Hokori really needed. Black Hole wasn't back up yet. Parker was too far forward, and even though they didn't get much damage from the Wukong's command, it still, I guess, kind of corralled Infamous into the area for the Mars to make his move.
Yeah, really forced everyone back. The chainstone on the Medusa was also pretty fantastic, and he had BKB. He was able to get it off. He would have been able to get it off, but just the boundless strike from the trees chained up into the spear stun. And really, I think Infamous going before Oscar was ready to fight again is the big mistake here. Even though maybe it's a free kill onto the Clockwork, but this is a lot of your map now that you kind of just have to sit by and watch your opponents take over here. It's where you do wonder if Infamous, they're so good at getting that snowball started, but they just drop it so quickly sometimes because, well, 25 Monkey King, 26 Monkey King. Yuma's looking at the Aghanim Scepter, and this Monkey King has so much room to grow, not to mention the Storm. He's causing problems.
They got the pullback, A taken down. They actually get a spear onto Oscar as well, so they're going to be able to take the Enigma down, and Alone is suddenly fighting by himself. Buyback coming out from A, but I don't know if that's going to be enough. The Leshrac still needs backup. Gardic is not going to be able to connect with the stun onto Alone, but they don't really need it. They just needed him into the fight. They find the kill. Michael now rolls in, and actually, wow, Michael does a pretty substantial amount of damage there, taking down Analog and Yuma, and they're holding. Actually, maybe a little bit more than that as Vitaly. Never mind. Okay. Michael making one play too many, perhaps, there as Vitaly just turns around and kills him off, but if you're Infamous, the damage to your high ground is basically non-existent. Costs you some lives there, sure, but I mean, that's got to count as a win for them in terms of defending themselves.
Yeah, it's a buyback on your Grimstroke. It's really the rest of your lineup still dying in a situation that was not ideal, but yeah, no building damage. There was no real push from Hokori ever there. They were really diving their opponents, and I think that's why they kind of get punished, but it's also where, again, Michael and A are just the dynamic duo. They're the ones that are always going in, always looking for plays. They catch every single Hokori hero after the fact, post BKB, so it's not like they really could have done much either. If A doesn't buy back there, though, that is a super terrible situation. That's basically 4 for nil and Parker in a 1v5 situation there. Without that decision, then the game is not like it is.
Heads up plays there from A, and the Grimstroke, well, it's a combination of the player and the hero, right? We're used to A sort of having these contributions, but the Grimstroke in particular is able to do so much considering he is still the lowest net worth player in this game. So one of the strengths of playing that Grimstroke, you don't necessarily have to have farm to be able to make your contributions. Of course, a lot of that contribution is throwing an Inkswell onto someone like Michael and then just letting him throw his face into the fight, but this is what they drafted these two supports for specifically, and it works to their advantage on that high ground defense for sure.
Yeah, and that's where the game of cat and mouse will begin. It's where can we get your BKBs out from Hokori, and then we go in, and then we feel great about it. It's what can Infamous do to force those BKBs besides Black Hole, besides Stone Gaze? It's where the pressure, again, falls kind of on Michael's lap here on the Earth Spirit, where he's the one that really needs to make those plays happen, as, well, goodbye, A. Dying right after a pause, that always sucks a little bit, but what can you do? Parker, though.
Oh, okay. Looking for a bit of revenge. The Blade Mail is not really a factor as Parker just pops the BKB and keeps on fighting, but yeah. You trade off some supports there. The only thing is, you know, Hokori make that play with a hook shot and a spear stun. Parker did have to pop a BKB charge, and his is not at that lowest duration, so 9-second BKB to kill off Clockwork is not ideal, but if you're Parker, you had to get something.
Yeah. I have to maybe find that play in the meantime, but, we'll see. We've got a lot of heroes respawning now on the Hokori side, and with the recall, they can get out just a little bit faster here, and they know Parker doesn't have BKB, so this is a risky smoke from Infamous, a risky smoke that will be scouted out as well. I feel like Hokori want this fight, and Vitaly, he's positioned to break up this smoke right now. He's wasting a lot of time here as Alone and Oscar. They kind of know what the positioning is. They decide to keep their smoke, move past, but this is a very tense situation. Without the Clockwork, they can't break the Black Hole. If Oscar finds his opening, this is what is going to be. In the next 25 seconds, that is his window.
That is very strange. Michael gets his smoke popped. Obviously, he noticed that happened, so as you said, they just keep pushing through, but then I don't really know. What's the forcing move at this point? Well, that might be one, as Michael is not actually in danger. Analog was just zipping all the way out to deal with the creep wave, so wasn't able to just sort of turn around to force a fight. So nothing really comes of that, although as I say that, there is a jump onto Alone. It's not a great one. The arena cut down Yuma's tree, and the spear doesn't really latch to the wall. It just pushes Alone out, so it's a little bit awkward, but the arena's not the longest cooldown in the world at this point, and I think they can afford to maybe work this one out.
Oh yeah, they'll be fine. And really, more importantly, Yuma just picked up a refresher. We've got 2 BKBs, 2 Wukong's commands to deal with. It's a really sick item build from him. Still needs to be very concerned with his HP pool, especially if he gets Stone Gaze, then you can't just get right-click down. And Parker has gotten like 3 or 4 of these DD runes. I feel like that smoke was scouted out yet again, though, as Vitaly is in another position to try and break things up here. And it's going to be another whiff, I feel like, from the Infamous side. But with Parker double DD, I feel like they're going to want to do something. And with the carts, this is one of the few opportunities where that Storm Zip is not going to stop the push in itself, but it's also very scary to kind of post your game up on that high ground. Could just see the game slow down until that next Roche.
Yeah, I mean, neither side really looking all too keen on taking too many chances right now, so as you said, might calm down, might just sort of move into waiting for Roshan. 30 seconds out from the fastest possible respawn at this point, so not the most exciting play in the world, but it might just be the safer move.
Yeah, and it's not exciting, but, you know, we still have a lot of room to grow in this game. Refresher queued up by Vitaly. Of course, the Storm Spirit's done, you know? Love that. Probably gonna have a pocket refresher just for the refresh of the BKB. 5 nulls, you know? Who cares? He gets to push out and kill whatever creep wave he wants. But at the same time, you know, Infamous, they are setting up themselves. Really not that much growth on the support side. We're not seeing like your Hex being built up by A, hasn't really been given a lane. Not the best Grimstroke target either for that Aghanim Scepter, so probably not going to see him go for an item like that. Would love a Hex on really anyone in this game, especially get it on the Alone perhaps. That could be your way to kind of break this game open. Really surprised as well from Alone. Not see him looking for a BKB in any way. He's sitting on about 3.3k gold, so maybe we see a change up sooner than later, but it is interesting to see him kind of post himself out that far. But that is also where Smoke Up, I would love to find Parker first, especially if he can get him away from the Enigma. But this Roche timer is not cooperating. This is a very long Roche, and a lot of high grounds that Infamous actually have control of right now.
Smoke play gets them into position to at least take the outpost, so they'll flip that, but not sure how much further they want to go. Do they have... Yeah, they do. They have a second smoke, so if Hokori want to try this, they could go again. Try for the wraparound play. They have a better idea of where their opponents are at this point, so that could very well be the move for them. The problem is, while they're sort of making that move, Infamous were just going after towers, so Tier 2 is going to drop a little bit low. I don't know if... Do the Medusa Illusions alone just take this? It looks like they will, so they get the objective. No one has to be in any significant trouble, but now in the base, Michael is going to get jumped in on. There's the arena going down onto him. The Spear Stun is there. Illuminate didn't kill as Michael is going to enchant himself, but still not getting away. Gardic able to hit him up there with the hook shot, and they will find the kill.
Yeah, don't know if he wanted to kick himself in like that. I feel like that might have been a little bit of a misplay, but hey, you got that refresher from Yuma. Don't think Infamous know about that, so maybe they get caught off guard here in a few seconds here, but most unfortunately for Infamous, you're not going to have an Earth Spirit for the immediate fight into the pit, and with the Daedalus on Monkey King, it is a whole magnitude faster. You should be able to get that pretty easily here. Analog tried for the break on Parker's TP. That would have been sick, but was BKB'd, would have needed a connect. I'm also very surprised from Hokori. Don't think we're seeing a basher or anything of the likes built up here. Yuma has to kind of turn his build around to make sure he actually has that MKB to deal with Parker, but at the same time, there are a lot of items I feel like we're missing on both sides.
Well, they're able to get something there for Alone as he's got his hands on a Hex. Oscar, though, is going to make the jump in. They got the Black Hole onto Vitaly. Parker's coming in for the damage, but Analog able to zip his way forward. They're going to be able to interrupt that, and they now turn onto Oscar. Not able to finish him off, though, as they do get leashed up, and now they have to be careful. Analog might be in some trouble, but Yuma's going to come in on the back line. Oscar gets taken down. They'll hookshot their way in onto A as well, so they find that second kill. Looks like that's going to be the call for Infamous to fall back. They lose a few too many heroes in that fight, and, well, just in time for Roche to respawn. Hokori will make their way to the pit. Aegis Cheese and the Agnim's Blessing all up and running for them.
No, and now your Yuma doesn't need to buy an Ag's Blessing. I mean, that's perfect for Hokori. Don't really know what Infamous were trying there. I get the want of, okay, if I kill the Mars right now, then that's going to be our kill into the pit, but at the same time, the Mars would have had buyback if the play even worked out. That was also their Hex reveal on Alone. That was their timing where they actually bought out for that item. So that was your real opportunity to, I think, catch your opponents off guard here. In doing so, you use the Black Hole that's still not on off cooldown here. You give up the pit, you give up the Aegis. It's still very scary for Hokori to beat into this high ground. Their tower push is still not the greatest, and they have to deal with Leshrac Medusa, but just feels like a play they didn't need to make.
Trying to force the issue there, and of course, if it works, then you look like a genius. If it doesn't, now you're sort of pinned back in a defensive position with limited resources. So Hokori are going to push their way in. Yuma's just getting those sort of stone soldiers up to help with the damage, and Tier 3 tower taken down. Infamous, do they make a move here? Can they afford to? Really, I don't know. Without the black hole, it just seems like they don't have enough. Even if they could kill off Yuma once, they'd have to get through him again, as they will hex him up. Vitaly comes in with the arena. That really doesn't do a whole lot here, other than maybe just create separation as Michael. That's a very long roll forward. Speaking of long jumps, though, Analog gets in. Vortex connecting, catching out too. Looking for more damage. Second Vortex in. Vitaly goes in with another arena into the spear stun. A will fall alone. Drop low as well. But Parker's trying to cover for him. BKB active, dishing out the right-click damage. Yuma now comes in with the Wukong's command. That's going to push all of Infamous back. They will reset the fight. While they do so, Yuma's going to try to get more damage in onto that melee Rax. Still not able to take it, though.
Yeah, the Rax stays alive. You do have Refresher, but feel like the 60-second cooldown on Wukong's should just be them waiting this one a little bit more here. But your Aegis is starting to run a little bit thin here. It's about half duration right now. And then you can't really afford to put your Monkey King that far forward. Not to mention, none of that was enough to force anything out of Oscar. So you've got that black hole back up again. You've got that moment. You've got the ninja gear on him, which is huge. You've got your pocket smoke for your initiator here. I feel like Hokori can very safely translate this bottom lane into some more gold, a little bit more advantage for them, but we're getting into this scary situation where how do Hokori actually close this one out here, as Gardic is a little bit crazy. Maybe the kickback? Nope.
Slow instead. Analog, though, gonna zip in. There's the Vortex connecting onto two. They're gonna take down Oscar. Oscar has a buyback, but, well, may have to use it here because they're starting to lose one or two. Michael got picked off there as well, but they're pushing their way forward here. And Parker, this is very interesting. He's got the Refresher Orb up and running, so you could have that sort of double BKB, double Stone Gaze play that Hokori may not be ready to deal with. Okay, they're going to try and make the move. Parker, though, got the BKB off in time. Does this really turn into anything? They're going to try and get onto Yuma here. They would love to just burn through that first life, but they also need to get out of that Wukong's command. They will do exactly that. They take down the Monkey King. They take down Elmisho. And now they need to set up for him a second time. Oscar's going to preemptively black hole, and they should be able to find this kill. Yuma with no backup is going to get himself taken down. And now Vitaly actually hasn't left. He's still stuck. Michael's going to try to track him. But I don't think he has the angle. Vitaly should be able to walk away, but at this point, Hokori, well, their momentum gets a little bit snapped there, losing that many heroes.
Yeah, and it's Hokori, as Michael might go down here. He's got the kick, actually, and he's bringing friends.
They're coming in. They're going to try to get onto Gardic first. Clockwork. Quickly taken down. No buyback available for him. Michael now rolls in. Vitaly's going to get kicked back. Silenced up. He does still have the cheese, but it's actually in his backpack, so he's not going to be able to immediately use it as he gets stunned up by the Split Earth. Trying to hold his ground here, trying to make something, anything happen, and, well, he's not dead. He's able to back away. Elmisho's actually the one that they're sort of looking at now instead. That's a far easier kill. They are going to be able to hex him up. They get him with the Malefice stun, and they will finally find that kill. And Vitaly is still here. Okay. Getting on to Oscar. This is a kill he should probably be able to finish off. Oscar is just trying to dance around the trees, but not going to be able to make it out. So eventually your Mars is able to find something there, but Infamous are still sort of holding on, still fighting their way back into this. Taking a look at the graphs at this point, you see that lead sort of slipping away a little bit. Just 2 or 3K in Hokori's favor now, and things are going to get a little bit rough because we've got, what, damage. We've got basically refresher orbs on every single core on the Infamous side. So they're going to be looking for a fight again real soon.
Yeah, and okay, Roche is not on the table yet for a little bit, but as we get to this ultra late game stage, I don't know. It's kind of a toss up. It becomes all about the initiation here, and I really think the only reason that fight goes so poorly for Hikori is whenever Alone actually connects with the Hex into the Split Earth. Analog, it's not like he has a Shivas, it's not like he can actually stay in this fight. He really is that type of Storm Spirit where it's great until you get caught, but once you get caught, you're kind of dead. He's got a refresher as well. It makes you wonder how comfortable Analog is to actually commit for a lot of these team fights. And you also saw Parker, when he gets ran through the entire Wukong's command ring, he takes a lot of damage. He still is very killable on this Dusa, and getting him that easy reset, when he uses double Stone Gaze, throws out a Mystic Snake, uses the Refresher Orb, he's killing a lot of his own mana as well. It's something that Infamous have to be really careful of. It's partially why Parker almost died in that last fight. He had to kite out for so long there. It's very fortunate he had a friend in A there. Otherwise, he probably would have died for free. But Yuma,
They're able to kick
you
him
got
back,
next?
and
Oh
Yuma's
my
dead.
goodness.
Straight dead. He's got buyback, but would rather not have to use it. A does get picked off there elsewhere on the map as Analog was able to bring him down, takes the gem away from him, but I mean, a gem is neat, but it's not the same as losing your carry, and well, Monkey King had the means to presumably keep himself safe. He just gets kind of caught off guard by Michael.
It's like the Horde Toss effect, You kick him into an instant cast spell, he's just dead. You just don't get to do anything. It's super sick play from both Alone and Michael, and we are getting these crazy big items. Wind Waker now finished on Alone. Whoever's stuck in that Wukong's command gets a pretty big head start when it comes to running now. Alone still needs to be very careful when it comes to keeping his HP pool high. Of course, skipping the Bloodstone. He's got no spell lifesteal. It's a little bit obnoxious to be out on the map for long periods of time, but he is the hunter. He is really, I think, the reason why Infamous have gotten back into this game a little bit. It's just him with this Hex finding pickoffs, and he's got a Blink Dagger he can decide to make next if he wants either the Overwhelming or anything else. But again, it's Alone making the plays.
And on to Gardic. They actually see El Misho here as well, and yeah, they would like to go for the Keeper of the Light first if they can. They find that kill, now they're back in onto the Clockwork. Malefice is going to keep him from getting over that cliff, and Alone cleans up both kills. And at this point, oh, Hokori are getting pushed back. Roshan could potentially be 25 seconds away, and Infamous are starting to take control of the map at the right time.
Yeah, and it is the perfect timing. We'll have to see how kind that Roshan timer is, but they're also not really being forced around all too much. Sure, the supports are still very killable on Infamous's side, but we're not really seeing anyone else get picked off in these important stages of the game. Nobody's really overestimating themselves right now. And it's Sakori who are actually the ones who are fairly scared. They're fairly afraid. They haven't gotten that perfect team fight. Now that Vitaly has that refresher, we're not seeing that, or we haven't seen that double spear, double arena, keeping some heroes stunned up for an impossible amount of time. And I think without that level of execution, a game might just grind to a halt for Hikori. They become stuck on their high ground. We already see the Medusa is so farmed on Parker. He's got 5k in the backpack. He's also got a Scotty in the backpack because, you use the Mantis to farm. Just keep on going. Keep on keep on accelerating on this Dusa. But with the midway timer of that Roshan, it's not like it's going to really affect buybacks all too much here, but it could if they find Oscar. Until then, though, this could be a huge opening for Infamous. If they get their first Aegis of the game, we could see them just immediately turn things around. Because again, can you really commit that much onto Parker? I don't think so.
Parker's just so massive. I mean, he's eaten the Ags, he's eaten a Shard, he's eaten a Moon Shard, so you're just kind of out of things you can even buy at this point. He's maxed out on his levels as well. He hit her 30 a little while back, so have a Dusa who's just kind of tapped out until maybe we hit 60 minutes and see what kind of tier 5s they can find in terms of neutrals. So does that mean that Infamous should now be looking to make a move? However, unclear, right? Because as strong as Parker is, the rest of the team may not be able to survive, and then you're sort of gambling on whether Parker is strong enough to basically 1v9, which he very well could be, but I don't think that's something Infamous want to take a risk on at the moment.
Yeah, and I love that we see the Andis picked up by Elmisho. Elmisho also has a Wind Waker, by the way, so, you know, don't trust your stuns anymore, I guess is going to become the answer of this game. But also, Oscar almost has his refresher. Then there's the threat of the double black hole. Then there's the moment where the game could just end. And with Roche respawning, they're going to scout it out instantly on alone. This is everything. This is a lot of net worth as well. Ags would be all right on the Grimstroke. Don't think A would necessarily be the first choice. Maybe the Nihilism would be pretty sick on the Leshrac, but they lost their hill. They got the high ground right now in Hokori, and okay, the scan. That's pretty perfect from Infamous.
We have swapped sides of the river at this point, as the stalemate will sort of come into play. Now, for Infamous, what do you do? Try to retake your hill, you're doing so under vision. If you try to push into the pit, they're probably going to see that happen as well. So, do they march forward? Do they try to sneak? Okay, looks like it is going to be the sneak play. Parker gets in there, he's going to start Roshan, and well, Hokori will realize this is happening. They start to move their way over, but here comes Michael trying to push his way in. The double damage was picked up. They get the Hex down on to the Mars. They're going to hit him up with the Black Hole as well, and that's Vitali already dead. Meanwhile, on the backside, Parker blinking in. They're going to look to isolate Yuma. They are just chunking through his HP. A second Black Hole coming into play, but the Wind Waker actually going to keep Yuma alive for a little while longer, long enough for him to just continue this fight. They're going to turn it around. They get the arena in onto Parker. They'll take him down. They take Alone down as well. And Infamous, I don't know now. They've started buying back on some of these heroes, but they have to sort of get everyone back into the engagement. That is not going to be easy for them, but Alone is already in. He is trying to go forward with the Pulse Nova. They take down Yuma. Misho now on the run, slowed up by the Lightning Storm, but they would rather just go back towards the pit at this point. And, well, the brute force.
This is on Infamous vision.
Yuma
needs help.
Vitali's gonna have to try. He gets in there. There's gonna be the hook shot from Gardic as well. Parker not able to dish out the right-click damage just yet. Analog now zipping in as well. They do get a Hex down onto the Medusa, keeping Parker locked in place as Alone trades himself out. He gets the kill onto Yuma, but he is now dead as well. Buyback's unavailable for either of those two.
Can Parker do it by himself? This is a crazy game. Storm still has his buyback as well. If he wants to, he could just use everything. They're looking for initiation. They'd love to kill these heroes off. Again, all underneath Infamous vision. They see everyone.
Pull in. Soulbind is there. Parker, does he want to make his move? He does, but he actually gets pushed back by the Cog, but he's still doing the damage. Looking to find these kills. Haven't actually finished anyone off just yet, while Analog is actually going after A. They'll find that snipe out. Immediate buyback from the Grimstroke, but that's the last buyback that Infamous have. Oscar's coming back up, though, in 15 seconds, so we'll have the Enigma. He does not have a Black Hole available at the moment, though, so that is going to be a bit of an issue for him. What can they do? No Black Hole, no Refresher Orb. Roche is still alive, still sitting in the pit. Hokori seem to have the man advantage at the moment. Do they take advantage of this and try and push in? Can they even do Roche without Yuma, actually? Probably the more important question.
Yeah, that's the big problem. Without the monkey, they can't really start the pit, which is a huge problem. And you're giving a lot of time now over to your opponents. And I think this is where Oscar, playing versus no buybacks with his Black Hole being up in 25, is it going to be another steal attempt? He has to pop PKB on Parker, and Parker can only take one. Someone needs to be with Parker. There's 3 things that this Roche is going to drop that Parker is not going to be able to pick up. Uh-oh.
They got the arena. The fight's sort of broken out in 2 different areas, though. Parker remains in the pit. He's going to try to finish off Roshan. And, well, he's not doing it very quickly. Gardic now is going to try and get in there with the hook shot, but he has to back out of the pit too early. So Parker is going to be able to take the Aegis. Analog and Vitali, though, are into the fight. They're looking to push their way forward. The Vortex is going to be there, pulling the Medusa in. They get the Hex down as well. Parker losing his backup as Michael will go down. Mana Shield starting to drop down to about half as well. Meanwhile, Oscar up on the high ground might just be able to take Gardic out here, as they will find that kill, and Infamous get what they want, kind of, but now they have to handle this fight. Yuma's coming in. There's the Wukong's command. Zip forward from Analog. Parker in trouble. Does still have the Aegis, but they don't want to have to use it here, but there's just no one to help him. No one can get over here in time to actually assist. And there's going to be a second Wukong's command coming in. Parker's going to get hexed up again. They just keep him locked down. And Parker does not have his buyback. That might just be the game.
I feel like that might be it. It's got to be a hero story. It's got to be Alone and Oscar finding the Monkey King again with, well, the kill. They need to take out Human. They need to do it cleanly. Unfortunately, he's got an AN disc of his own, so there's going to be a lot of HP for him to work with at the end of the day here. Oscar just was not able to find his way into the fight. He was getting pestered for so long there by Gardic. Gardic was not allowing him any opportunity. Oscar has to pop his refresher to get the second BKB to not die to battery assault of all things. So he only ever got to see a single black hole come out from him. This is just not the situation you want to be in here. And they're being very hesitant. They're being very quiet right now. It's 75 seconds before this Medusa is up. I think posting Vitaly here to take the racks is the safest option Hokori can really go for here. And this could all be broken open, or broken wide open by Analog, who is very patiently sitting in the back. He has a Hex now as well. Anyone he finds could just be the death. And they've got to go, or they've got to decide not to, but here we are.
Okay. Alone makes the move first. Wind Waker's going to buy him some time, but they just bypass him entirely. They're in onto Oscar. They're going to take the Enigma down, but actually, no, they're not. Black Hole comes in, trying to hold the line, but there's the Boundless Strike, stunning him up. Oscar trying to go for anything he can, but at this point, he's just out of really moves left to make. He used his ult. He has no refresher, so he will be taken down. Buying back, though, as quickly as he can. Meanwhile, the Wind Waker gets Alone out of that ring. But Infamous have been pushed so far back here, they're going to lose that second lane of racks, both mid and top now taken, and well, they are well and truly out of buybacks for several more minutes now, and not sure what kind of play they can make. Michael was rolling forward, looking to see if he could catch out somebody, but may have gone a little bit too far himself. He's going to try to enchant himself and kick himself out.
Oh
Think he lives here? Maybe not, though. El Misho actually pulls Analog to him with the recall, and Michael's going to be in some serious trouble. Wind Waker locking him down. Vitaly's coming in. They're going to look for the spear. They'll throw it out, and they'll get the kill onto that Earth Spirit. Michael bought a lot of time, though. That's the Medusa back up. But again, is this going to be enough? Infamous are just really pushed back into their base now, stuck in such a defensive position.
Yeah, and really, I feel almost as if Michael was trying to catch someone who was already trying to leave. They were trying to run away from you. Yeah, I don't know if you needed to go down, but I'm just looking at the buyback status now. It's 2 minutes until we kind of have that soft reset in the game here. Buybacks are so ridiculously expensive, but tier 5s and Gardic,
It's a bait. Analog's going to zip in, looking for the back line, trying to take down A first. Wukong's command, meanwhile, gets channeled out, so they're going to push all of Infamous back. Oscar, though, looking to push in. He does have the refresher. He would love to not have to use it. They will succeed at getting Analog, but now they have to deal with Yuma. Pushing forward, Boundless Strike stun is there, but Yuma alone doesn't want to go straight in onto Parker, so Corey will back away. They do lose their supports, but Storm is down. The BK, or not the BKB, excuse me, the Black Hole is 40 seconds away for Oscar, and then you will have the double. Infamous, they may be stuck in a defensive position, ET, but they're not dead yet by any means.
no, they're going to look for the outpost. They need to find some of these tier 5s. Some great tier 5s getting picked up by the Hokori side. Got the Apex, got the Book of the Dead, have the Mirror Shield on the Monkey King. Mirror Shield could just be the killer in this game. Arcanist Armor over onto what I feel like is going to be Alone's item, perhaps, unless he really wants to keep his Flicker. Could be ridiculous. Okay, that might be Yuma's item. Stygian Deso is pretty insane. Might even just keep both, to be honest.
Sent the Deso back, so he's just going to hold on to the Mirror Shield. Vitaly's the one who will take the Stygian, so alright. Get in there, pop a Rebuke. Just sort of knock damage off as Michael, okay. Gonna roll his way in. Let's see what they can find. Vitaly was able to pop his BKB, but now Parker's trying to push in. Arena goes down. Wukong's command goes down as well. Parker needs to find the ramp. There we go. He's going to be able to walk away, but Vitaly refreshes. They're going to go in. They drop another arena down, but the Medusa is still able to get out of that arena. Another Wukong's command comes in. He's able to get kicked out of that ring as well, but he doesn't have a lot of HP to work with. But now the Black Hole from Oscar going to come in, connecting onto two, pulling in both Gardic and Analog. They're going to be able to take both of those heroes down, and now they will push their way forward. Yuma and Vitaly need to be careful here. They're trying to sort of buy time to TP away. They will do so. El Misho, however, is he going to be okay? Not really. He's hexed up. He's in trouble. No buyback. Actually, he does have buyback. He's the only one who does, so Corey rather sizable setback there as they actually lost analog to the DC. So he doesn't have buyback, and at this point I think both squads kind of know that because he did just use it, but you know, they'll probably wait it out, show the good sportsmanship here, but Infamous may have found their way back into it now.
Yeah, and well, with as far as this game has gone, the buybacks are going to be coming back up. We're not going to see them most likely be able to end the game off of the Storm being dead back here, but they can give it a shot if they really want to. At the same time, their own buybacks are going to be coming off cooldowns. So for a lot of those members on Infamous' side, Oscar still needs to be very careful, but the other four all bought back around the same timing. So you got this weird stage in the ultra late game where now the game almost resets, and I still feel like if we are going to get past that danger zone, Hokori had a huge window before that they just weren't able to finish it out. Alone just played a little bit too well on that Leshrac to stop it from ending. Well, the team with Black Hole's got to have the favor, right? They've got to be able to have, honestly, the tools to fight against it. And sure, if buybacks come back on Hokori, Oscar can't shut out this game, but they need to actually find an initiation. They need to find kind of a win here. I feel like the only reason the Storm Spirit even goes down there, I think, got clipped very simply by another Split Earth, but also had to use so much mana there when I think very calmly could just get recalled. There's a lot of things going wrong, I think, for Hokori right now. That's a crazy blink up from Parker, but he knows the position he's in. He knows there's no Storm Spirit. At the very least, this is the first time you're going to see a creep wave touch the buildings on the Radiant side of the map.
Able to get in there. They got the tier 3 tower. They picked up a Seer Stone as well, although no one actually literally picked it up. It's still sitting on the ground, but they have other things to worry about now. They're trying to push their way in. Alone can't catch, but El Misho does get hit up. He's going to get stunned. They hit him with the Hex as well. If they could take him down, he just bought back. El Misho's going to get taken down. Vitali, however, gets in, drops the arena, stuns up Michael, but I don't know if this is really going to be enough. Look at Infamous go. They're just pushing their way past that middle lane of Rax. They're in onto the tier 4s, and still no Storm for 20 seconds. Can they do this? Not with the glyph being deployed. If you're Infamous, now you have a decision to make. Can they take a 4v5 here once that Storm's back up? Well, they might not have a choice. They're going to be forced into the fight. Parker gets knocked back by the spear, but he's just going to stand his ground in the Wukong's command even. Just takes down Vitali. The Mars will immediately buy back, but now Gardic is sort of on that front line as well. It looks like he is going to be okay. It's only because Infamous are trying to back themselves off. Analog, though, doesn't want to let them go. Jumping in, getting Oscar with the Electric Vortex. They'll pull him in. They take down Oscar and Michael. But it looks like the rest of the lineup was able to pull back. A is now TPing home as well, and well, while all that happened, their own tier 4s were under attack, but Parker's here to defend it. He'll sort of clean this out as best as he can, and oh, they came close. I mean, they got one of the tier 4s down, but now Infamous have to be a little bit wary of defending their base as Michael just going to get himself back on that front line as they will smoke. Gonna smoke with no black holes and no Oscar, though. This is a little risky, but see what they can find, ET. But this could be the moment that determines the game. If this fight goes poorly, Infamous don't have a lot left to do other than, I guess, just buy back and hope for the best, as Alone really makes an aggressive jump forward there. They're going to try and force this fight. Vitalia, though, gets down in arena. There's going to be that leash coming between himself and Yuma, but Alone really doesn't have any backup. The rest of the team did not go in with him. Leshrac falls. He's one of the heroes who has buyback, though.
Yeah, just went a little bit too far forward, gets chain stunned up. They still have tier 5s to find as well, but I feel like they go for that smoke because without the Wind Waker from the Coddle, they can actually just blink Hex and try to blow somebody up there, but it's where we've gotten to this aspect of the game now where Aeon Discs are so obnoxious. There's nobody really buying a Nullifier aside from Parker, so unless Parker can get right on top of that target, it just doesn't happen. Now, Parker's got a Book of the Dead, so he's going to be able to put these Necro units. What's up, guys? It's been a while. See them out in the game, but 2 minutes up on the Roche. I don't know how much that honestly changes at this point. Roche is something. It's another refresher. It's going to be a refresher shard for your Monkey King, I think, specifically. So Yuma's not going to have to be too concerned when it comes to, A, his mana pool, but B, actually committing his cooldowns. But I don't know if we're going to see Infamous contest for it. They could. They've got buybacks. They're going to have Oscar pretty soon here. They're going to have double Black Hole. They're going to have a buyback on the Enigma. And they are playing versus no buyback on either the Coddle, the Storm, or the Mars. Infamous are the ones that can end this game. They just need to find those 3 heroes, and then suddenly everything changes. But they actually need to find those 3 heroes, and it is scary. This is the type of game you don't want to lose. You want to be the victor at the end of a 68-minute game, and it's not going to be a 68-minute game. We're going to look for that 75, 80. I feel like we're gonna go real late here.
Yep. In the meantime, everyone is farming at this point. Almisho just got his hands on a Scythe of Ice, so the Hex is up and running, and, well, let's see if there's a fight here. Michael's gonna get spotted. Force Staff is going to keep him safe. There's that Andes coming into play, so he's going to be able to get himself out of the ring, but here comes Analog zipping his way forward. Still not a lot of damage to actually deploy onto this Earth Spirit. Now Oscar's going to turn around. They got the Black Hole down. They're going to catch El Misho. The Caudal cannot afford to die here. He really doesn't have his buyback back up, but they will be able to take him down. Meanwhile, Michael, well, he had to be the distraction, unfortunately. Rolls himself in, gets picked off, but one trade on the supports. Neither one has buyback. 15 seconds to Roshan, but Analog's going to zip in. They're looking for it. A, though, with that Aeon Disc, is able to fall back. Now Parker comes in. Oscar going to drop that Black Hole, connecting onto 2. Damage from Parker is just going to start wiping out everybody as Yuma and Analog both get taken down. I don't know if they can do this. Buyback's going to come back from the Monkey King. He's TPing to the outpost in the north, but Vitali is just going to have to hold his ground until that Monkey King can return, and he is taking way too much damage here. He's going to get hit up by that snake, temporarily turning him to stone. That allows Alone his opportunity. They push back in. They find the kill. Yuma bought back but couldn't rejoin, and this might actually be it. If Gardic goes down here as well, they really don't have anyone other than the Monkey King to defend. Gardic trying to get away. Parker is still chasing, and Snake is going to sort of get the job done there. So they find that kill. Gardic had a buyback, so he will get back up, but if you're Infamous, now could be the time to just push in and try to win. I don't know if they're aware of the buyback statuses, but it is a Monkey King, it is a Clockwork, and that's it. So as long as you have those two in front, you don't have to worry about any sort of backdoor play, and they could look for the win as a Rapier. Alone pinged one out. It's in the hands of the Dusa. Okay.
I'm really nervous. They're taking their time. They're dragging their feet a little bit here. They're not going to be able to just straight up end the game. This was a situation where there was no glyph on the Radiant side either. Any pick could be a pick, though. Caudal's alive, though.
Dropping low. As you said, though, the Caudal's back up, so Almisho can help, but here comes Parker into the fight. He gets hexed up first, though, so the damage is not coming out just yet. He's trapped inside the Wukongs, and they need to get him out. The Force Staffs are going to come through. Push back, though, keeps Parker in the ring, but nobody's really able to actually get in onto him. Instead, it's Alone who's going to jump forward here. He is so fast, just pushing his way in. Yuma is going to drop a little bit low. Oscar pushed forward, but doesn't really have anything to fight with, so he has to just pop the BKB and try to TP out, but he's not going to make it. Oscar will fall. A dies. Alone gets picked off, and oh boy, oh boy. You know, you said they were dragging their feet, ET. That was a bit of an understatement there. Parker's at least able to get away with that Rapier, but that should have kind of been their opportunity. Instead, they're falling back.
Yeah, I don't know why they spent so much time chasing around the Clockwork. Now they're in this terrible situation where you're the team who has no buybacks. Everything's going to get forced here. They need to win and kill some of these heroes in the next minute. Otherwise, they're simply going to buy back on Hokori's side, and then you're the ones running out of abilities that are going to end the game here. I feel like Infamous might have just thrown. At least they throw away their easy victory here. This game is... And a DD. Oh. Stolen.
Log has it. Don't know how much he's going to be able to do with it, but at least he's got it as opposed to someone like the Deuce on the other side. So Infamous now going to try and push their way forward. Michael has the Inkswell on him. He's going to roll his way in, and they unfortunately can't catch anyone there. Almisho was close, but he's able to fall back.
I'm just looking. We really have kind of run out of objectives here. They could just go for the Roche again. Both Ancients are almost exposed here. Dire Ancient, of course, is, but a very easy path. Both teams have Glyph. Is it really going to be decided here on the Roche, though? A Roche where, again, Hokori's buybacks are coming up. They need to find the Monkey now instead. They need to switch targets. They have to ignore the initiation side of Hokori's lineup. And no, the Leshrac, he doesn't have buy.
And they keep him safe for now. Yes, the enchant comes out, so Alone's not dead. The Wind Waker's going to allow him to remaneuver and reposition as Oscar is now stuck inside of the Wukong's command. He needs some help. Not sure they're going to be able to help him, though. Oscar's dropping low. Parker tries to blink into the middle of the fight, looking to dish out as much damage as he can, and it's doing a decent job so far. Gardic will fall. Analog is dead as well. They managed to get Almisho, too. That's a buyback coming out from the Caudal. There's a buyback from the Storm as well, but they're on to Yuma. They need to be able to take him down. Yuma is taken out. He's got no buyback. He's dead for 2 minutes. And Infamous may have undone their previous throw as they are just going to push their way forward. Vitali, I don't think they care about him. They'll let him TP back. Instead, they're just going to focus on Roshan. Aegis, Cheese, Shard, and an Aghanim's Blessing all available. Have they done it, ET? Can they now push forward and end the game with this next Rosh? Still not 100% sure, but they are in a position now where they damn well better try.
With Aegis on alone, something's got to happen, right? They need to actually get backdoor gone, which is the real issue here. How do you stop a Storm Spirit who can do this? I mean, you're never going to see those creep waves meet. And with the Apex, I don't know if they can actually do it. I don't know if you can actually feasibly win from Infamous just not getting through backdoor. They might actually need to backdoor the Radiant buildings to actually win. Because look at Analog. He can make it to the river.
Oh boy, oh boy. Yeah, Null Talismans and an Apex really sort of giving him so much to work with here. And yeah, I mean, I think you're right. And I think Infamous have kind of realized this as well. Parker's just farming in the jungle. I don't even know really what he has space to purchase anymore. But actually, the answer is nothing. He's got 14,000 gold just sitting in his pocket. There's actually nothing left for him to buy. Uh-oh, Hex! They got a Hex onto Analog, but no one else is here. Oh man, it's a nifty play, but I don't think it's going to matter.
I mean, it's also impossible to keep it going, right? You need Parker to somehow meet him, but without the Boots of Travel 2 slotted in, without him able to make that Nullifier connection, it just doesn't happen. And you literally cannot win if you're Infamous. This is insane. This is ridiculous. You can't stop Analog from doing this. So maybe you just see them wait for buybacks to come back. Oscar finally has all of his black holes back available to him, so perhaps that's where we see this game lie. But this is just the strangest game of Dota now. It's what it's become. It's bottom. El Misho.
He's going to try and track him down. He gets the first stun, he gets the Hex, and he should find the kill. As Almisho does get taken down, and that's a hero dead with no buyback. He's got 5.5 minutes and actually 1,500 gold short of that, as I think he sort of bought out some items there. So Infamous now have the man advantage. Is that going to be enough to get them past the Storm Spirit? Hard to tell, but they're going for it. The tier 4 will fall. Parker just needed to basically sort of look at it funny, and they will take it down. But now, oh no, Vitali tried to blink in, but he actually gets immediately hit by that snake. But now Oscar, he's going to make his move. There's the black hole connecting onto 2 or 3 heroes. Michael's going to roll his way in as well. They're going to drop down the arena defensively, but Oscar goes for the second black hole, keeping these heroes locked in place. They're going to take down Analog first. Vitali dropping low as well. Yuma finally able to channel out that Wukong's command. Will that be enough? The frame rate is dropping like hell, but he is trying to hold. But Vitali goes down. He'll buy back immediately. Alone, though, gets back in. Drops a Hex onto the Monkey King. Michael trying to get in, looking for the damage. They will find the kill. But they need this Medusa back in. Parker was able to sort of buy back and immediately rejoin. He's going to get hexed up, but it doesn't matter. The Ancient will fall, and Infamous brute force their way through ET after 76 minutes. But they get it done.
I cannot believe the game. I also don't know why the creep waves were in. Analog started sleeping on that Storm Spirit, but yeah, they do it. 65 to 69, 76 minutes into the game. Some fantastic plays, I think, to get them here. Man, Alone, he needed to be the hero. He was the hero. It took a while, to be honest, for him to get going here. Never bought a BKB, buys a BKB an hour into the game, and then everything starts to go in their favor. But yeah, maybe some textbook misplays here and there from Infamous to get them in that position. Definitely some misplays, especially from Oscar, where it felt like, are we winning this or maybe we're losing and we don't really know what's going on? But at the end of the day, they're actually able to win this one. Parker, incredibly farmed, maybe not as fastly farmed as we're usually used to seeing from him, and his net worth is even like a little broken. If you look all the way, like loops back around, I feel like he's got some like digit integer breaking thing. He's got 74,000 net worth, and now he's got 4,000 net worth. So maybe just had a bad day at the park. But yeah, really good win from Infamous. Fun game, but I mean, once it gets to this stage, nothing really matters in Dota. It's too crazy.
All the conventional rules of Dota just disappear when you hit that sort of hour-long mark. So it turned into a brawl. That's the best way to put it. Everyone just went in all of those fights, as you said, it's a situation where both teams are thinking, oh, we're into the fight. Are we winning? We're not sure. And by the time you know whether you've hit that point or not, it's going to be too late to back out. So part of the reason why we saw those buybacks emphasized so heavily. But if you're infamous, you get through eventually. You get that 1-1 draw, so they will put points on the board. But I think that is the hardest single point we have seen any team get so far in this second phase.
Yeah, and usually they're just happy to be like, oh yeah, we lost. Sorry guys, GG. G next. Get this game over with. But yeah, both teams, I mean, really clawed it back. For a while, it felt like Yuma was gonna do it. Like Yuma was gonna be the carry. And I mean, that coddle, that was ridiculous. Especially the early Wind Waker. For so many of those team fights, Infamous just weren't able to stay on the target that they jumped because of that Wind Waker coming out so early from that hero. At the same time, once it got down to who had their Aeon discs, who were able to actually slip through the initiations coming in from the Clockwork and the Storm, well, it seemed like Infamous were just able to get those items, give those timings a little bit faster than their opponents. And then at the end of the day, it is who buybacks first, who gets their really spells worked out of them. And there are so many instances where actually in those later stages, Gardic uses the hook shot and then Oscar can just black hole. They don't have BKB piercing disables. Human never went for a basher, never saw an abyssal blade, never saw anything in the likes. The game just got way too far past that point. But I think in doing so, Oscar, who had a really rough Enigma game until that point, 45 minutes into the game, suddenly is hitting everything he needs to. It's kind of crazy to see.
Yeah, and you saw at a certain point there, even sometimes he was inside of things like the arena, the Wukong's command, but he said, I don't care. I'm here to get a black hole off so that Parker can do the damage and Alone can do the damage. And it works out. So, not a pretty game for either side, but if you're infamous, you're happy with the results. So, a 1-1 draw in our first series of the day. And as a reminder to you, that was the first series. We've got 3 more on deck here. So, a 76-minute game really just kind of messes with your perception of time. But we are going to be moving along to our next best of 2. It is going to be Osmium versus Dogchamp as that next lineup. So, with this game going over, those two teams are probably already sort of raring to go. Might be a little bit impatient as well. So we will try to get that next series started just as quickly as we can. So BT and I will step away. We'll be back with game 1 of that series just a little bit.